Hello, and welcome to another episode from the green team of the Legendarium. As you can tell from the title of this episode, it is a special one to celebrate our 200th main episode. To celebrate, I've got a few OG GT panelists with me today to take a trip down memory lane and answer some questions from listeners and other GT panelists. We may also give some sneak peeks into what's coming next for the pod, maybe. But before we dive in, I want to go over some housekeeping items. First, I've seen some confusion online about the Green Team and the Legendarium. Just a real quick overview. The Green Team is a spin off podcast created by fans and patrons of the Legendarium podcast. We refer to the Legendarium podcast as the main pod, which is run by Craig Hanks. The main pod publishes episodes on podcast platforms as well as YouTube. The Green Team only publishes audio episodes, no YouTube for us. So if you tried looking for us on YouTube and didn't find what you're looking for, that's why. But if you're listening to this episode and you're not yet part of the Legendarium's Discord server, what are you waiting for? Just kidding. But seriously, we'd love to see you on the server. Link will be in the show notes. That's the best place to stay up to date on what's happening with the podcast and engage with us for listener questions and discussions. If Discord is too intimidating for you, you can also find us on Twitter. We're going to keep calling it that, at Green Team Pod, info in the show notes. And lastly, for this episode, I'll be grouping the discussion and questions into common themes. We'll put timestamps for each category in the show notes. Okay, enough of my ramblings. Let me introduce the rest of the panelists. We've got Kyptan from the East Coast.
Heyo, Boston calling.
Cesky from Mountain Time.
Hey, everybody.
We have Soulution, also from the East Coast.
Florida man. Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hello, hello. We've got Hurin from Japan.
안녕하세요.
And Little Red Book, my fellow West Coaster.
West Coast represent.
Yes, indeed. Now, we do have several questions to get to, but before we start diving into questions, I did want to just see how well you know this pod. I've got some trivia questions. I'll do a few now. There'll be a few scattered throughout the episode, but no cheating, okay? You can't go on Anchor. You can't go on
Google.
Don't go on your
cheat.
podcast platforms. Kip, I know you got multiple monitors over there.
No, I was just translating the Korean that Kieran just spoke.
Yes, Kieran from Japan speaking Korean. He likes to often greet new Discord people with hello in different languages. So, no cheating. First question. What is the first episode that Green Team published? Does anybody know?
So
Books
the first
that need more love.
Yeah, I was
That's
going to
the
say
one.
that, but there's
Oh,
also
was
the episode that was the introduction that Horizon Brave
I thought
did
it was
by
Avatar:
himself.
The Last Airbender.
No,
It depends on if you're talking about like real episode or the introduction of the Horizon Braves.
It was hi. This is a green team.
I would go with that one.
It is the introduction. I had to look in the depths of Anchor's analytics to find this, but yes, it's the introduction.
I know because it's the only one that's accidentally monetized.
So listen to that
Okay.
introduction on repeat for us, you guys, please.
No, actually, monetization has actually stopped because when Spotify bought Anchor and they did all this transition, you would have to put in a new ad, basically, which we're not going to do. So, no money for us.
Stay
Okay,
tuned for more ads.
Let's take a quick break.
Oh dear. Okay, so we said that the first episode published was the introduction episode, which Horizon Brave kindly did. When was the episode published? And I just need the month and year. And there's actually multiple answers to this question.
Cool.
August
say it was like
2019.
March 2020. I want to
think
say.
Okay, I heard August
September.
2019,
June 2020.
June
Hmm?
2020,
Sep-
March 2020,
November
other?
2019.
Yeah, September 2020.
November 2019. Okay,
Are you cheating, Chesky?
No.
Little Red is correct.
Ah.
So March 2020 is one of the answers. So that was the first time it was published, but then it was deleted, like it was unpublished, and then it was republished on August 2020.
Nice.
It's not fair. She was the keeper of the calendar for many years.
We didn't have that back when that episode was
No, we
published.
didn't.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's yeah, I think it was like, ooh, let's do this podcast. Put out the introduction. It's like, wait, maybe we should have a few more episodes in the can before we start releasing episodes.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
We also had a website briefly.
Did
Oh
we?
yeah, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That was a time.
Yeah, super briefly.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
We were putting up pictures of our bookshelves or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Don't
me.
worry.
Yeah.
but-
That website does not exist anymore. So, okay, enough trivia fun for now. Let's start getting into some questions. So, we put out a call for questions on Discord, the Legendarium's Discord, hence why you should join. And we got some questions. So, Sun Gamer asks, has doing the podcast changed the way you read books, especially books not explicitly read for the pod? Okay, I'm going to start with Cesky. What say you?
That's the real question here is: are there any books not read explicitly for the pod, or for
True.
a pod in
True question.
general? And it's a tough thing because every time I want to read a book, I'm like, "Ooh, should I read that book?" And I'm like, "Yes," but I want to read it and take notes on it and just record on it. And then I'm like, "But you just want to read that book so you can read it," and it's like, "No, you're going to record on it if you read it." So I slowed down a lot with reading. It's affected it because now I want to record about everything and share it. Whereas before I would just read it and write a review and can't binge series anymore. That's a lot tougher to just read 1, 2, 3 instead of 1, record, then 2, record, then 3, record. Yeah.
You are also recording for like two podcasts because you got your own podcast.
Yes, that's true. I do
So-
a lot of recording when I get time.
So you're doing double duty over there. What about you, Soulution?
Yes and no. Only if I'm reading the book for the podcast do I take notes. Anything else, my brain switches back to just reading for fun. No
Nice.
notes, fast as I can go, zoom through, and then just see how I feel.
Nice. Hurin?
Since the podcast started, I put a lot more effort into learning. I don't know, how to be critical on books,
Mm-hmm.
and that's hard to turn off even when I'm just reading for fun. So I'd say yes, it's changed a lot. I look at books a lot more critically no matter what I'm reading.
Yeah, a lot of you guys also have like a whole thread going on in Discord about critical analysis and like elements of the narrative, which that was too nerdy for me, so I did not step in.
Yeah, we need to get back to that. Took like a 2-month break after quite an experience.
I've
Yeah.
tried to keep up with that thread, but it's been a lot of work.
Too dense for me.
Also true.
What about you, Little Red?
So I would say, kind of like Kieran said, yes and no. I never took notes on books that I've read before the podcast. I read books for the podcast that I'm going to record on. I read them twice. I have deliberately started reading Simon R. Green, I believe his name is. He is not a good author. But I really enjoy his books, and I do that to turn off that part of my brain, just to read something.
Yeah.
And also, I would say Sarah Maas, but they might
So
get mad at
we're
me.
really slandering him.
No, Sarah Maas is not a bad author. I'm saying he specifically is not a good author.
I'm just saying we already called out 2 authors in the Sonic 200th episode.
We do an
so-
episode. We actually have an episode coming out on her.
I'm sure we'll call out more.
Yep.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think
That's coming.
it's awful, but I actually kind of like Battleship Earth. Is that what it's called?
There's a movie called that.
the movie
I would
or
guess
the
there's a-
book?
No, the one by L. Ron Hubbard.
Oh, I didn't know there was. Okay.
No, it was based on a book. That's why Travolta's like, we have to make it. It's really, really, really long, and it's not good. I'm
It
just
is.
serious. It's
That's
really
the name
bad.
of it, Hurin.
But I kind of liked it.
It's fine to like books that other people consider are
Yeah.
not well written. Totally fine.
That's okay.
It's definitely pushed my like free reading books away from traditional fantasy and science fiction.
Mm.
Because when I get a chance to read something that's just for me,
Hmm.
I'm making sure it's just for me. And I'm
Mhm.
sorry, LRB, that I tried to get you in on Archive Undying.
I just couldn't with that book. I'm so sorry, Kip. I really tried. I really tried.
Oh dear. Is that episode? Did you try recording that episode, or you just like
No,
didn't finish?
no.
Nobody like
I
we didn't
finished.
finish
No
it.
one. No one else finished the book.
Yeah,
I see.
Starcast
Oh.
didn't finish either. We were both
Oh,
like,
wow.
no, we can't with this
Got
book.
it.
Sorry.
Well, I
Why?
thought Starcast finished. Jeez.
I don't think he finished.
No, Star didn't
Tough
finish.
book. It's a tough
Art
book.
finishes everything. If he didn't finish it, then I have serious doubts about this book being called a book.
No, it's totally it's just very, very dark. And I just
Okay.
It's not that dark.
it's pretty dark.
I think
Can
you
I
could
get-
also apply the appellation weird to that.
Well, and also the main character is terribly unlikable. I just don't like it.
I love the main character. He just makes terrible decisions.
Oh
Terrible
dear.
decisions.
That's your complaint about every character. So does that really a complaint at that point?
So this was a mini episode of the Archive Undying, and there will be no more from the Green Team. Cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
because nobody finished the book.
Yeah.
I'm probably
except
gonna
for
read it
Kip.
sometime.
For me, it has definitely impacted my reading because now I read very, very little. The most little since like college, basically. And I actually read very little that isn't for the pod on top of that. So, but maybe that'll change next year when I'm done with Aladdin. Yay! All right.
I've got one more thing to say.
Yeah.
I don't get time for full rereads of my favorite books anymore unless they're rereads for an episode.
Yeah.
So now I've just started going to my bookshelf, taking down a book, reading a chapter,
Mm.
or whatever length I want to. And that's something I used to do back when I was a kid, and I'm enjoying getting back to it.
That's nice. It's like kind of like try a chapter kind of thing to see if you're in the mood for it.
It's more like visiting an old friend for like an hour, whatever.
Oh, that's a
Kip,
good
do
way
you
of
do
putting
this?
it.
Based on the scene, because I used to do this as a kid where I would specifically go and get one scene that I really like and I'd go read that and I'd be like, I'm good.
Sometimes I do that, but no, I've been doing just more like random
Mm.
open up a book to wherever. I'm like, I know I
Okay.
like this book.
I can't do that. I've tried.
I like
It has
that.
to be a very specific type of book.
Mm.
I will turn on my favorites on audiobooks when I go to bed. And then wherever I wake up, I still know what's going on in the story.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, moving on. We got several questions from different people that are very similar, so I just paraphrase them. So from Eridandus, Ross, and Merlia, we've got, what is your favorite book that you podcasted on? Favorite book. And then there's a separate question of favorite series you podcasted on. So up to you if you want to answer both or just one. Let's start with Hurin.
Do I need to answer?
I was gonna say.
I mean, if you have no answer, say no answer.
You got to pick one book and one series. if you
Yeah,
wanna make
one
it
book
hard.
is I think what's going to be tough for you.
And
the series
first
I know.
5 guesses about the series don't count. So we have to know that one.
Okay, well, my favorite book's Toll the Hound. My favorite series is Malazan.
There you go.
Oh, there you
Mhm.
go.
All right. Nice.
Hey, not everybody that listens to this episode would have listened to the Malazan episodes.
That's
So,
fair. If I go to non-Malazan, probably Lines of Alrason.
yeah.
That one was almost life-changing.
Ooh. Kip?
So my favorite series was definitely the Uplift series that I did with LRB and Era. That was a lovely time, some of my favorite books, and then we got to interview one of my childhood heroes at the end of it. So that was a pretty fantastic, magical little series of apps for me. And favorite book was probably the conclusion of that series, Heaven's Reach.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It's been on my TBR and still remains there. I'm very excited to get to it.
It's a Kip favorite. It's not necessarily this is the best book in the series, but
Okay. With the whole series as a whole, like it is, I'm very excited to get to it. Just because
Yeah.
the things that you guys have said, and you have like non-spoiler episodes talking about.
we've got a primer episode, which is non-spoiler, and we have some fairly lengthy non-spoiler sections in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah. Nice. Aaron, did you have something?
Yeah, that reminds me. Sun Gamer asked if our reading habits have changed. I read like almost everything that the podcast covers. At least if it's a series, at least the first book. And I was going to say thank you for covering that series because it's really good, and I wouldn't have read it otherwise. And that goes for a lot of the books that we cover. So thank you.
Yeah, Huron has a point. I branch out a little bit more than I used to, just because everybody covers stuff, and occasionally they'll talk me into it. I'm like, I'll give it a shot, or at least it's on the TBR like to read really soon. So yeah, it's good.
Nice. Yeah, Soulution, you want to go next?
Yeah. Well, the series, it's Cradle, because I had a lot of fun with Era and Cesky. And this one's for Era. Okay. Ghostwater. It's my favorite. Yeah. Now I'll do if I'm allowed to do one that's not a book.
Uh-huh.
The Everything Everywhere All at Once podcast was really fun. That was a good standalone podcast. That was good because that's a great movie, and it was like a cultural hit that it came out of nowhere, and it was fun.
Wait, so going back to the Ghostwater one, is that the one that Era particularly hated, or is that the one where
yeah.
he had a turning point?
Oh yeah, this is the one he hated the most. 100%. Yeah.
I see. More
Oh
on
my
Era
gosh.
later. Era and Cradle.
Could I add a special shout out for the episode, the draft episode, where I think it was Yeti just got destroyed by Kyptan?
Yes. Yes,
That
he
one was a
did.
lot of fun.
Yeti was very gracious.
review
That was
scene
good.
episode was lovely from my point of view as well.
Yes. Yes. So those are not books in particular that we podcasted on, which is what this series of questions is about. But that's okay.
Okay.
We'll include that.
We can make the guessing a series.
We can. What about you, Little Red? Favorite book or series?
So I want to say that I have not disliked any of the books I've podcasted on. I'm going to
Lucky
go
you.
with I'm blanking. The Five Gods and Paladin of Souls is my favorite book that I podcasted on.
Correct.
It's probably one of my very favorite books, honestly.
Yeah. And it is a series too. So honestly,
Yeah.
I read the second one because you and Rabbit really wanted to podcast on it too. So thank you.
Ooh, are you going to come back for Pen and Des?
Maybe depends. I mean, your train has already like left the station. I'm like way behind.
They're novellas.
Yeah, she wants to catch up on reading. Come on.
I need like a supersonic train to catch up.
And also that we've been releasing slowly the episodes because we've been having Todd on. So from the main cast.
Yes, which has been fun. Chesky, your favorite book or favorite series to podcast it on?
I think the favorite series is just going to be Cradle as well. That's one of the only real series that I've actually done on the podcast. But if we ever finish the Tower of Babel or the Books of Babel series, that would be up there as a contender for those. And
did you not
favorite
finish?
book? Well, we
only did
fourth
the
book.
last one.
Yeah, we did the fourth book because
arc.
we got an arc.
We got
for
the
it.
arc.
And then we still need to eventually go back and do 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, I
it's a good
see.
series. We got to go back.
Oh,
Okay.
that reminds me, we got to do his new book.
Yeah, we
Mhm.
have
the
an arc
Hexologist.
for it. If you'd, oh, we're already in the group with me, duh. And then I'd say my favorite book would be like I really liked redoing Ella Enchanted, and like the Phantom Tollbooth is just like fun nostalgic reads. So
Phantom Tollbooth was cute.
yeah.
Those are my answers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, it warms my heart that you like them too. All right.
Oh, I was just going to say that watching the movie with the group was really fun because
Yeah. Oh my
I wish
goodness.
we could have recorded that like a riff track style recording of it.
Maybe next time. Next time when we do something like that. Yeah, my answer for the favorite books that I podcasted on was Ella Enchanted and the Phantom Tollbooth. And partially, I mean, I love those books. They were my childhood favorites. But for the Ella Enchanted one, Chesky's rant about the movie, honestly, one of my favorite moments ever that I've been a part of on the podcast. So, thank
Never
you.
gonna live it down.
It was a
No,
thing. I
you
loved
should
it.
own it. It was
I
great.
do.
For my favorite series, I'm not gonna say Malazan because that's just kind of given. I'm gonna say Saga. I really,
Ooh.
really enjoy going through the Saga series with people here, and it's not even over. So there's like a whole second arc
It's-
left.
Is
Yeah,
it
we got
Ash
years
and-
left.
Yeah. Oh dear! Don't tell me that.
Who's on that with you?
Me.
The Saga series.
Oh, Saga.
Who's on it?
Yeah, it's Kip and Yeti, and we've got Mr. Anderson as well. Okay, next question is from Iridanus and Marilia. Favorite Green Team episode you've listened to? Doesn't mean you were on it. So I think Huron Yuri said you really enjoyed the 2015 book draft episode. Did you have any others you wanted to add?
I'll go with one specifically that I was not in. So maybe the Elderlings stuff. I really like those.
The Realm of the Elderlings. Yes.
The draft episodes are fun. One that I was jealous I couldn't enter. Still don't know why I was invited. Read Spirited Away.
Pretty.
I guess you got to redo it.
No, I think there was just timing issues. You live in freaking Japan. It's hard.
No, I think that was what it was.
Which is why I should have been on the episode.
We're gonna do more of them. We're gonna do more of them. We promise. We promise.
What about Chesky? Favorite
Ooh,
episode you listened to?
favorite episode I listened to. I was gonna say the Fools, the Tawny Man series that Kyptan and Yeti have been covering. I love those books, so I like listening to them and then trying to yell at them in the Discord about the things that they're wrong about that I'm clearly right about in my interpretation of the written text. And no, I get it. I like a lot of it. I did enjoy listening to the Battle of the Linguist Mages, which we'll talk about later. But that was fun to listen to for a whole different reason. So,
Yes.
and the Jade City one, that was a really fun one to listen to.
That was
as well.
so great.
Jade City was good.
People love me. What can I say?
Oh.
Chesky likes the ones where we rant. Okay.
And,
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, they're good.
It's fun to listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very happy that we covered Elderlings because otherwise I probably would not have returned to it.
Ah.
So sad.
What about you, Little Red?
I would have to say Jade City was one of my favorite episodes to listen to that I was not on. That was.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry, Panda.
No,
That was
I appreciate you listening, even though the audio quality was not great. So that added to the unpleasantness.
Some of our best episodes have terrible audio.
Yeah, that's where we thrive.
I guess.
I will say that overall, our audio has gotten better.
Overall, yeah.
Yeah.
Believe so.
Hard not to.
Right? When it started off as bad as it did.
What about you, Soulution?
Am I allowed to pick the draft episode? If not,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Kaiju Preservation was a lot of fun.
Mm.
I like that one.
It was also a lot of fun to read, and we got the
Yeah.
art.
And you got an interview with the
yelling
author.
at my podcast.
Hmm?
Nothing. Don't worry.
Yes, we did interview the author, but we interviewed the author before we got the arc.
Yeah.
After we did Old Man's War.
All right, Kip, you're up.
I'm gonna be simple here and say that my favorite ep is your interview with Steven Erikson, the first one.
Oh,
Thank
That was
you.
that was fun. That one wasn't even my favorite Steve Talk.
That was intimidating. I was
And
like,
that's kind of why it's my favorite, because you all held up really well.
oh my god. After that, our latest one is just like, all right, Steve, let's just chat. And I'm gonna poke at you because you didn't do this one thing really well. Yeah. No, it was great.
That was a happy accident.
We got AP in the bargain. For me, my favorite, I'll just say the Legendarium 300th episode celebration one that Green
The live
Team
one?
put together, where different Legendarium listeners, either wrote in something or recorded a message.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was also really
was-
interesting.
Really heartfelt.
Exactly.
And I
It
cried
was-
a lot. I cried a lot during that episode.
Sniffle, sniffle. It was also really interesting just to see how different people got to know, came across the Legendarium and why they stuck around. So that was a really, really nice episode. And, maybe in not too long, we'll also have our own 300th episode.
Will you be done with Erikson by then?
No way, they'll get another book in, I think, right?
He's got-
there's always more series to read from him, right? He's
He's
got so many more books coming out.
The look on Panda's face right now.
I love the guy. I do. I'm ready for something different. Anyway, next question is from Merlia. Have you listened to all of the episodes, including the ones you're on? No. The short answer is no. We
No.
do have a lot, and
No, hold on, Red. Why don't you answer this one?
That at this time, 3 months ago, the answer would have been yes. It's not the case anymore. If I see who's editing and I'm like, yeah, they're fine, I don't need to listen to it, and I've never read the book, I just don't listen to it anymore. I gave Starcast a list of people that don't need to be proof listened.
Oh wow. Okay.
Do we get to
Wow.
know this secret
No,
list?
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
No.
I feel like it could only hurt my feelings.
I think
I put
that you
myself
can
on that
all
list, so.
guess that everybody who is right here is on that list. And he said, well, what about your episodes? And I'm like, I'm not saying I don't need it, just that nobody does it, but you can do it if you want to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, for context, Little Red used to listen to every single episode once it was done being edited to check for quality. Thank you for your service.
If I haven't listened to an episode yet, it's just because I plan on reading the book.
Same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's a long Malazan episode, and I'm like, I don't have time for this.
Or it's any Malazan episode. You've chosen not to listen to it.
You know,
By the way,
it's
I would like to
okay.
say, when I used to listen to the Malazan episodes, I really enjoyed the chemistry of the group. If that makes sense. Like
I
way
mean,
you
I'm
guys
not
play off.
doubting that.
I mean,
just
I didn't know what
long.
they were talking about half the time, but
See, I should know what they're
Gods,
talking about.
ascendants,
Death, soldiers, dinos,
Coins,
animals, magic.
pieces of
lots of
pots.
magic.
Dinosaurs.
A weird creepy
Zombies.
doll that lives on.
Okay, we're off the rails now. So I'm going to throw in some more trivia. Are you guys ready? Okay.
I'm ready.
No.
Again, no cheating. Any guesses as to what our audience size is in the last 7 days? Doesn't need to be an exact number. Just give me a ballpark.
Like of people downloading each episode or listening in general, or
450.
Correct. Just like people consuming the episode, according to Spotify for podcasters.
I'm gonna
What would you say,
say
Kip? 450?
450.
450. Okay. Anybody
say
else?
Was a Malazan
814.
episode released recently?
Fairly
yeah, I was going to
recent.
say we just released that. So
I'm
I'm
going
gonna
to
say-
111.
I'm gonna say
Low ball.
410.
is this like
410,
the Price is
111.
Right? So like
I actually don't know any of our stats, so I'm just guessing here.
up by $1.
I'm going 814. I'm going exact.
814.
I think probably 800
Oh, sure, undercut
Okay.
me.
Do we really have that many listeners?
for
No.
Malazan.
Little
Yeah.
Red
we have a
is
lot.
the closest.
It's like
We are
700
around
something.
700. So technically 694.
Wow.
That's
Way to
good.
doubt myself.
Way to doubt yourself. So good job. Pat yourselves on the back, every GT person who's ever produced an episode here.
Especially the Malazan team. They're the ones who really bring in the crowd.
Well, okay. Speaking of Malazan, we know the Malazan episodes are very popular, but can you tell me the top 5 most played non-Malazan episodes?
Hyperion.
The top 5. Hyperion's the one.
Um,
Well, maybe a Scalzi interview?
Jade City's got to be in there
Jade
because
City.
it was really popular when it started.
Cradle.
That's true. Daniel Green had just put out an episode on it. We're like, let's read this. And we're okay. You can go listen.
Is Unsold up there or Dread God?
the two
Hyperion,
Hyperion
Unsold.
episodes are probably in the top 5.
Okay, 2 Hyperion episodes.
What about
What else?
Scalzi? I gotta go a Scalzi interview.
A Scalzi interview. Anything else?
I want to say Dread God
Okay.
and maybe
okay.
Unsold.
Maybe. I doubt
Okay.
it. I doubt
I think
Cradle's in any of the
Unsold.
top
I
5.
bet Unsold is in the top 5.
Could
Okay, so the answer is Hyperion Part 1. And
Yeah,
it's
I knew
actually
that's the
in our
highest.
top 5 played eps. It's currently sitting at number 4.
be. Ooh.
Hyperion Part 2. The Fall of Hyperion.
Oh,
Unsold. Cradle number 1.
Oh, hey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then our introduction episode.
Oh, of course.
This is the
The
first
one that
one.
was monetized. Nice.
Yeah. I'm going to take another ad break right here, you guys. If you're a Patreon supporter, you can listen to the trivia. Otherwise, you'll get an ad.
I would just like to point out that the common link between most of these episodes is me.
Between 3 of the 5.
I think probably the link is that it's weird books that nobody are talking about, but they're old.
Maybe.
I mean, that definitely goes for Hyperion.
I mean, yeah, Cradle, ancient series.
Oh well,
Very
yeah.
ancient.
Cradle's,
So old.
Cradle's an
Way
outstanding.
back time of 2010.
No, I'm just saying that. Never mind.
Yes.
We gotcha. It's okay.
I mean,
Oh,
three
sorry,
of them are
2017.
Hyperion. One is an introduction, and the other is Unsold. The
I'm
common
pretty sure I just have a large fan base, and they're just listening for me.
Yes, I'm sure. That's
Yes.
totally it.
Everybody's listening
Yeah.
for Hurin.
I'm like, I will just listen to an episode just to hear Hurin's voice.
Yeah, I mute everybody else's part except for Hurin.
Right, exactly.
Oh
If
my
only that
goodness,
were
that'll be such a
possible.
good April Fool's joke. It's just like it's only Hurin, but stitched
It's
together.
just him
from
going,
different
yeah.
episodes.
No, I could see
long,
that.
long breaks in
Okay.
between.
Here's like, I just did the best editing job I've ever done in my life.
Muted
Starcast
everybody
is
else
like,
and hit
it's
publish.
just you. There's nobody
Hey, no
here.
joke. In one of the Malazan episodes, I actually inserted fake laughter after one of my jokes
God,
because
you
nobody actually laughed during the episode.
Of course you did. Of course
That
you
does
did.
not happen often. Okay, that was a very rare occurrence. I just want to let listeners know.
I cut out laughter.
Oh goodness.
There were
Okay,
quotes there, everybody.
Getting back
Listeners.
to our questions here, Lammy, our guest host who joins our episodes often, especially for Scalzi episodes, he asks, how many of you besides Eridandus signed up for a series and regretted it? Okay. Kip, why don't you go first?
Lycanius.
Oh dear.
That series
I'm right
was
here.
sold as a thing that it was not.
Oh no.
Like really good.
Like Robert Jordan. And you know what? Kind of was like Robert Jordan. Like Cliff was kind of like Robert Jordan.
Look, Kip, you needed to go in like me. You needed to go in blind. I go in blind to series when people recommend
I'm sorry, it was on the cover.
It is on the cover.
I didn't read the cover. I get an ebook. You
Read
get
it as an
and the little
ebook, Kip,
blurbs
no
are so
covers.
tiny you can't read it, so you're just like, yeah, it's fine. Looks cool.
Yeah, that's what
Oh
I
my
thought when I finished the books. I'm like, how is this like Wheel of Time?
I couldn't forget how it was like Wheel of Time for the prologue of the book, so
Okay. Soulution, why do you go next?
The answer is none.
Oh, none. All right.
You're right. Well, because you guys didn't make me do the rest of Jade City, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Do you regret
if we
the
had done
first
more
one?
No, because that was my first episode.
Oh,
And
that was
that's
to get your
where
feet
the
wet.
first time me and Kip never really connected. We connected in that episode.
There was bonding that happened. You know, I
Yeah,
agree. That was a good bonding episode.
yeah, it was.
I enjoyed
It was good.
recording the episode very much.
Yeah, it was fun.
Podcasters that rant together stay together.
Okay, listeners, don't hate us for not liking Jade City. It's a fine book. Lots of parts were fine. Some parts we just really didn't enjoy. Okay, so
I
that's
don't
it.
think
I
Kip
disagree
enjoyed
with
anything about
Panda.
that book.
I say bring the hate. It makes
No.
it more fun.
Okay,
Yeah, it fuels us.
I
As
guess
long as it's honest
that's true.
and not aimed at like the author.
If you honestly hate us, that's okay. But if you fake hate us, it's not.
What if it's like 50% irony?
We'll allow
And you
it.
can only 50% hate.
Chesky, do you have an answer for this?
Yes.
Oh,
There's one book that stands out in my mind, particularly that I really, really didn't like reading, and I pushed myself through all three parts of it for you, the listener, not for anybody else. Nobody else
the
was in my
one
mind.
listener.
Not Red. It was somebody else. No, it was Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I did not click. It did not work for me. She's very talented. I will read whatever she puts out next as a hate read, and I'll rant about it again. But I'm sorry to all of you who did like that. But it's I don't regret it, but it was my definitely least favorite there.
Chesky, I loved you in those episodes because I read those books. I read that book and I was like, I don't need to pick this up again.
Oh,
And that's the exact right answer there. It was done and it's good. It's there.
See, those episodes are what made me realize that Chesky's opinion is not something to be listened to.
Well, I take offense at that.
You learned that in that episode?
I mean, that one kind of cemented it. I mean, I always knew you always had to take it with a grain of salt. He's like, 5 stars. 5 stars. This book is incredible. Chesky likes everything except
Okay,
for.
speaking of 5 stars, today I was looking on Chesky's Goodreads, and I wanted to see, where do we have overlap and where do we differ? Every book was 5
He's gonna keep scrolling, scrolling 5 stars, scrolling more scroll 5 stars. Oh, is that a 4? Oh no, that was just the screen glitch. 5 stars, keep going.
You have to sort by 4 stars because it takes a while to get there. What can I say? I incredibly get into the books I read, and I like them when I read them. And
I think it's beautiful.
I'm
when
so
you
jealous.
don't like them, that's really surprising. So this is a surprising thing.
Yes. I just read the last book I read, I did rate 3 stars because it wasn't bad, except for like one scene at the end that I talk about. You'll listen to it if you listen to me. I rant about it for like half my episode. It was just totally book breaking to me, but yeah, whatever.
For the Liberalmancy podcast.
Yeah.
Well, Soulution did make a good point in that Cesky is on this episode and he's giving opinions. So does that mean we all balance him out?
I guess so.
Sure.
I mean,
Well,
I lean
because
more towards
Kieran's
Chesky.
on this episode, that's why. So there you go.
That's right. If you
I
have
love
to, you
good
can just
Chesky rant.
mute me and have it be responding to empty noises there.
If only I were editing. That'd be funny. I could put all of your parts at the end of the episode and just try to have our listeners
And now
piece
that you've
together.
listened to Hurin, you can get the rest of everybody.
It's like a
Oh my
mystery novel.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting to lose track. Little Red, what about you? Yeah, do you have an answer?
Not for me personally, but I was actually going to mention Jonathan Strange because Chesky had such a visceral reaction to it. But there was also a romance book that I can't remember.
Shades of Milk and Honey.
Yes. And we had Stephanie and Chesky's wife on.
Mm.
And he also ranted in a very similar fashion. So
Regency, it's just confusing. That's all you need to know.
it's not
Oh.
confusing.
Actually, this reminds me of something. So we don't get a ton of like actual reviews on the episodes, like on the podcasting platforms, but we did get at least one review for the Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell episodes, and the listener was like, "Who is this guy? He doesn't know anything. What is he talking about? Get this guy."
Ah,
That is so right. He doesn't
Chesky
know
got
anything.
fan hate. I love it. I love
Whoa.
it.
I will neither confirm nor deny that I wrote that.
That book makes you feel like you're out on an English moor wandering in fog.
Yep.
And it's trying to do that, but
Mhm.
it's not a fun experience for me. And I guess not for Chesky.
I see. Hey,
Sorry, there's
you-
clear
you-
boundaries you can't pass.
You can't have moors or fog.
You drew out listener engagement, okay? So
That's
that's a
right.
win. There you go.
If the fog is cool, then it's cool. But this fog was not cool. It was incredibly dry and boring.
Okay, moving on. Huron, do you have an answer for this?
I've never regretted anything I've read, so no.
Okay, yeah, fair answer. Yeah, I put Jade City as mine. But it's not that like
It's not the series. You said a series, right?
yeah, but it is part of a series. We
Chesky said Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell.
But we did it in
technically
three
as a
parts.
standalone. Yeah,
But technically 3 books in one.
Mm-hmm.
but yes, that too. So Jade City, we didn't like it enough to continue. So there you go. Okay, Lammy asks, who on Green Team ended up really liking a book they got bullied into reading? I mean, we
Ooh,
all
that's
know.
a good one.
Era.
It's Era.
Yeah.
Or Cradle.
At least twice. No, because World War
And
Z
after
too. We bullied him into
Ghostwater,
World War Z as well.
I thought there was no way he was gonna like the series after Ghostwater, and then the next book he's like, actually, this is getting kind of good, and I'm like, what? What's going on?
I agreed with him on that episode, actually. What, the next one was Bloodline, right?
No, Underlord, which is where it starts to take a turn. Yeah.
That was like so fascinating to watch, you guys. Like I never listened to the episodes because I hadn't read the books, but just the commentary that was happening as each episode was coming out, it was so fun to watch. It was just like Era doesn't liking it, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, I am liking it. That was such a surprise, a pleasant
Yeah.
surprise.
Was it Stockholm syndrome? You like hold the guy captive enough and be like, "Oh, you're gonna like this." And eventually, like, "Yeah, I kind of do like this." So not bad.
Uh-huh.
I've read so many Modested books, I can't tell if they're like actually good anymore.
Well, weren't you like live ranting about one that you were
Oh,
reading?
I can tell some of them are bad, but I
Okay.
can't tell if any of them are good anymore.
Oh, I see. I see. That there is a
If,
difference.
if some of them are like definitely worse than the others, yes, I can point them out. But
Uh-huh.
Panda, were you bullied into Malazan?
I can't say I was bullied. No, because I definitely like did that to myself.
Peer pressure is a form of bullying, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you're the only one crazy enough to offer to do a full deep dive into 10 long books. Like,
I was gonna say, did you
10,000
know what you
pages.
were signing up for?
Yeah.
Not
I
entirely.
don't think anyone could know that at the time we were
Yeah.
starting the podcast.
Yeah. We thought it would take 2 years. It's now more than 2. So there's that. But do I regret it? I don't. And I can't say I was bullied into it. Like I was genuinely interested.
Yeah, she's not allowed to say that because she still has to finish it. Once she's done, then she could maybe say it, right?
No,
All
no.
the bullying goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's
That's
what I'm
actually
saying. Like,
true.
All the
Hurin is
bullying
the
goes on in
worst.
the culture group chat.
Oh dear.
We have a very friendly Discord. We do not bully people.
no,
We
yeah,
generally-
they're all jokes. Everybody, they're all
Yeah.
jokes.
There's
I will
definitely no
say-
bullying of Eridandus.
Not that I've been bullied into an episode on the podcast, but I have been bullied into trying books that we have done episodes on, and I have
Uh-huh.
enjoyed books like Piranesi and a few other books that normally I don't go towards, but I've tried it and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot, and it's been great.
I would say like the bingo and the like monthly discussions we've had last year. I think those were great to help people get more like out of their comfort zone and like more willing to try different books. So that's been nice.
Definitely.
Anything else to say on this question? Okay. Next question from Nat. If you could grab a colleague, which I'm assuming is a green team colleague, into reading a book you know they'll probably dislike, but will make a good episode, who is the colleague and what's the book? All right. Who
Well,
wants
I've
to go
already
first?
tried with Archive
Oh.
Undying. I wasn't sure LRB would dislike it, but then she was like, "I don't like this." I was like, "Do you mind finishing?"
I was like, no, I don't want to finish it. Thank you.
So my real answer would be LRB and House of Leaves.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, for a similar reason.
I just bought House of Leaves. Lerb, do you want to do it?
Sure.
Oh my goodness. We have it on recording.
All right, it's gonna happen.
I'm in.
Okay.
I'm in.
I'm out. Okay, good.
Me too, I'm out. We're not in this one.
Oh dear. Cesky, do you have an answer for this?
I was actually thinking. I misread the question. I was thinking of my work colleagues, and I was like, no,
I
I don't
was
trust
too.
any of them enough about a book to be safe about it. So, but I would probably see. The problem is I just think people would like all the books I'd recommend them. But
See?
even when I'm wrong, that's just what my brain automatically thinks is.
I know.
I'll recommend this book, and they'll like it, and then they come back and they're like, "Oh, I hated this," and I'm like, "Oh, did you read the right book?" And they're like, "Yes," and then I get sad in my own little corner. But no, I don't know. Just I don't have a good answer to that. I'm really
Okay.
hoping that Era
That's
reads
okay.
a series I've been recommending to him, and I hope he likes it. But
I
if
think
he doesn't
will.
like it, we'll definitely
I
talk
think he
about
will
it on
like
an
it. See, that's the
episode.
thing. I was gonna say Eridandus and to read Worm with us,
Oh, he would hate
but I
it.
think after he gets like, a couple arcs in, I think he would actually like it. So I'm gonna say here's what I'm gonna switch it to. I'm gonna say Little Red Book and to read not Worm because I know you're never gonna read it because a very stupid reason.
I just
gonna
hated
say-
it.
I'm gonna
I
hated
thought we
say,
were assuming that like their likelihood of completing the book was not in question.
Oh, okay.
So if we could force Red to read the whole Worm,
Yes.
then yes, then her.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna force her to do that. That sounds good.
No, this is not about forcing me to read books. What
No,
is
this is a
happening right now?
hypothetical.
Here we
Okay,
go.
it's not real.
Here's a book I think you would not like, but I would do with you is Arcane Ascension. I think you would hate that book, and it would be so funny to watch you go off on this book. It'd be
Oh,
fun.
I've never heard of that.
Talking about Red or Kip here?
Red.
I think
Okay.
both of you would hate
You would
it.
hate it too. You would have both of you
Yeah,
together would be
You'd probably dislike
incredibly.
it. You might like
Wait,
it, but it's a rare
Is
shot.
that the Rune Lords book? No.
No.
No,
No,
this
that's
is
David Farland.
Sufficiently Advanced Magic is the
Oh,
first
okay.
book by Andrew Rao.
Basically a JRPG dungeon crawler, but they try to make logic for it.
Hey, I read Slime.
Yeah, he did read
Yeah.
Slime, you guys. Don't forget.
Yeah, so I think Kip
That's-
And
might
he
like
live
it.
ranted.
Well, in the
Yeah.
beginning, it wasn't live rants. In the
Why
beginning,
am
it was
I
like
reading
live.
this?
I finished this book.
This is terrible. I gotta read the next one.
Yes, and I was like, why do you keep
And
reading?
he kept going after like 17 of them.
I only got up to 15.
Oh, sorry, 15.
Oh my
I think
goodness.
that's the limit of what you can get in bookstores here.
Okay. For my answer, I just put Cesky, but I don't have a book in mind, which is why I was looking on your Goodreads, but then you rated everything 5 stars, and I was like, well, I don't know what he doesn't like really. So
You can rate things by 1 star or review. Sort it by the 1 stars. You get
I
a
Yeah, sort by
tried,
1 star.
dude.
Now I need to look
tried.
and find one.
Goodreads can't handle how many books you've read.
No.
yeah, I can. There are people who've read more than me on Goodreads, but I doubt it. I disbelieve
try
all their
again.
things.
Look, I'm not sure Goodreads can handle whole numbers. So
Oh, that is the quote from the episode. Okay, moving on. Lil Red,
So I would have Chesky read The Shadow of the Serpent by Mercedes Lackey with me.
you think you
You'd
would
probably like
dislike
that.
it?
Sounds cool.
You think I'd hate it?
I don't know. It's not Regency. It's Edwardian England. So like
Doesn't that basically sound like Regency to you?
Oh, it sounds like he's
No,
already going to
because
hate
it's
it. I like this.
it's like World War One-ish. Think World War One.
I'm pretty sure that just sounds like Regency.
Yeah, you got to do this episode.
No, that is not, it's not
Regency
the
is
same.
actually a really narrow time period.
Yes.
Sure it is. Regency's all about the feeling you get.
And I'd like to have your wife on that episode as well.
She likes Regency, so she'd probably like it.
It's not Regency.
Well, she'd still probably like it.
All right, Huron.
I would do Chesky and whatever Susanna Clark is writing next.
Ooh.
Or literally any of you in Infinite Jest, because I want to cover that book.
Oh no!
How
Is it a
all of you?
standalone?
No.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is
It's definitely standalone.
Is it? How long is it?
Very.
long.
Really, really long. It's like 500,000 words.
No, I'm going to go with no. Sorry.
Yeah. I'll definitely hate read the next Susanna Clark book with you, Huron.
Yay! We've got it on recording.
Next question. Jingles asks, what are some authors you are still hoping to interview? Huron.
I want to talk to Esselmont. So we got to cover his book sometime.
Yeah.
I think that's actually kind of realistic to be able to talk to him. Very unrealistic, but someone I would like to talk to is Kazuo Ishiguro. So I like his stuff a lot, and he does write speculative fiction, mostly speculative fiction. Actually.
Yeah, we did an episode on Never Let Me Go.
We didn't. We read Never Let Me Go. Planned to do an
Wait,
episode.
did we
and never
never?
recorded.
In my head, we did it.
Wow.
Oh my god. We read it and was going to do an episode on it. But then that episode never happened. Okay, never mind. Moving on. Kip?
Okay, as long as we're just talking about authors, I mean, I've already gotten one dream author, so let's go for another. Ada Palmer.
Terra Ignota?
Terra Ignota. Yeah.
Ignota.
Probably my favorite work of the last decade.
Is she
need
published
to do
by
some
Tor?
episodes on that first.
Yeah, she's published by Tor. I'm pretty
All
sure.
right.
Yes. I have perhaps the stars right next to me, and I was able to check. Yeah, I hear you, Huron.
Yeah, you guys are going to do episodes on it?
I mean,
I want to.
I'm not opposed.
Okay.
I can't be opposed. The only problem is how we would ever do all the political discussion.
Funnily.
Carefully.
Metaphorically. Soulution. Who would you like to interview?
Well, I've been trying to get Will White on. I reached out just before his new book was announced, like really quick. So not the best timing. So I'm gonna reach out again. But no, his series is done now. He's moving on to other things. So we'll see.
Does he usually do interviews?
Not especially.
Okay.
But he's very active in the community, and
Okay.
he'll do live streams and stuff like that. So I know he's around,
Got
and
it.
he's a fellow Florida man. So I know he's got the same vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So Yeah.
Humid vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, we got alligators. And we wrestle them for fun. You know,
Well, if
ride
any
sea turtles.
listeners want a Green Team episode with Will White, feel free to help chime in.
I know that Ada Palmer has a Discord.
Ada Palmer has a
That's
Discord.
cool.
Are you in
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Now, are you a moderator of it?
No.
As a non-moderator, are you the owner of the Discord? Did you start this?
No. I just hang out and watch all the Utopians post things.
Uh-huh. And fanboy of it in the corner. Yeah.
Maybe.
Cesky, what about you?
I would love to interview the author of Worm. I know he doesn't do interviews, so it's not a real thing that could happen. But just to talk to him about the difficulties of doing a web serial, posting every so often, trying to keep engagement up, but get the story straight and right. That would be really interesting, I think. And then on a lesser note, I really like Alona Andrews, husband and wife couple. They'd be a lot of fun. Max Gladstone, Rachel Aaron, and Robin Hobb would be my top 5.
Oh man, I've been
Those
trying
would
to
be
get
pretty
her
cool.
for the main cast, and it has not been going well.
I always forget some of those people are still alive.
Oh my god.
That's so hurtful. Okay. And we're not even them.
Max Gladstone's not that old.
Gladstone, I know he's alive.
He recently published not that long ago.
Yep.
For me, I would say I have a list, just threw it together. I think Matt Ruff would be interesting. He wrote Lovecraft Country, and honestly, all his books are all very different. He's got like a ghost story romance kind of thing. It's just like such a variety that he writes. I think it would be really interesting. Ken Liu would be, I think, a really good guy to interview, good author to interview. Tamara Pierce and Gail Carson Levine would be like childhood dreams coming true.
I'd be a puddle.
Yeah, you'd be a puddle.
Yep.
I would love to pick Ken Liu's brain, especially translating the 3-body.
And there was one more that I was thinking of, but now I've lost it. If I think of it, I'll put it in. But otherwise, Little Red. What about you?
I would like to interview Lois McMaster Bujold and Max Brooks.
That would
And
be
some of the other
interesting.
people that you guys have mentioned, but yeah.
Yeah, Max Brooks would be interesting. I actually haven't really seen like interviews of him, so I am curious like how he does in interviews, but I'm sure he'd be fine.
I think he's a quieter person, like
Yeah.
more out of the spotlight. Yeah.
Oh, I did remember the other guy. I think Ted Chiang would be really
yeah, he
cool
would.
to interview, but I am like really intimidated because he's wicked smart. Like I would sound really dumb, more dumb than usual.
No. Authors
Just 'cause of nerves?
they're just people. Authors are just people. Even if they're really, really smart people.
Even
just
if they're
people.
Mel Brooks' son.
Even if they're Mel Brooks' son, they're just people.
I mean, everyone's people, but she said, I mean, that's not mutually exclusive to smart people.
She said just people.
They're just people, guys. And they get nervous too sometimes.
That is true. They do.
Sure.
Okay, taking a little quick break here for some more trivia. Speaking
What
of
about
like
the
series.
timeshare? We're supposed to do the ad about the timeshare now.
Oh my goodness. I thought you were being serious.
Is that what you're calling your house now?
Apparently.
Speaking of series and standalones, okay. How many series have we covered on the pod in some part? Not that we have to cover it
Oh,
completely.
geez. In some
but
part.
In some part. And I'm only talking about published episodes because we got a few episodes in the can that would qualify, but we're not counting those.
What if we
22.
only covered one book and stopped after that?
Yep,
57.
still counts.
Still counts. Jade City still counts.
I'm
Jade
going
City still counts.
57 for the catch up.
All right,
I'll say
57.
27.
22.
I'll say 100.
100.
We only have 200 episodes,
You
dude.
have to remember half of the episodes are
We've
Malazan.
got a bunch of
Yeah.
episodes where we like quickly go through a number of the books that are in series.
Between Cradle and Malazan, like all this stuff, like we have a bunch of series. Yeah.
15.
Okay, 15. Chesky, did you say something?
22.
22. Okay, I don't remember who
23.
said it, but the answer is 32, at least by my count, which could be erroneous, but wouldn't be that far off. 32.
I think that's here in 27.
Soon it'll be 34 because
Wow.
we have A Court of Thorns and Roses coming and Earthsea.
Oh, and Old Kingdom.
Yes, but it
35?
is not uploaded
uploaded
Not
yet.
in the can.
Not in the can.
Oh.
Yeah, not in the can.
Kyptan, I have words.
Sitting on the edge of the can, about to be kicked in.
Yeah.
Or it's actually further away from the can than that. And he's kicked over to the can.
Guys, I just want to say that when Kip is going to edit an episode, he does it the night before it's due.
He does like
And he does-
halfway, you know, like the
I do
week
halfway,
before.
and then I finish.
Yeah,
But he gets it done. That's what matters.
exactly.
He'll stay up all
I
night.
can't do it in one sitting. It's hard. Well, I can do it in one sitting, but
I'm glad it's Star's problem and not my problem.
Okay, standalone books. How many standalone books have we covered on the pod? Published episodes only.
I'm going to have to say like 58 on that one.
58,
I'm going to stick with 57 again.
57,
I'm going to say
Okay.
45.
45,
25.
25,
30?
30. Okay,
Can I change to
whoever
35?
said, I mean, yes.
Cool.
Whoever said 25 and 30 were the closest.
So
Actually,
I changed the
no.
way.
I'm sorry. 25. 25 was the closest because we have
Well,
20.
it was 25, but I switched away.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
but
then.
you switched. So
I wish I was editing this episode.
No points.
Are we keeping points?
No,
I am.
I am
no,
not.
it's fine.
And I'm
I
winning,
have been keeping
according to my
points.
points.
Yeah, you're losing. That's all you got to worry about, Red. Try
Chesky's
betting.
losing. I'm winning.
I've got an asterisk next to my points.
I might have
Yeah.
added up all the back points from giving you your best prompts for your gratitude list. So
Okay, so we're playing Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Okay. Moving on. Back to questions. So this is something I threw in here. Just talking about like the future of the podcast. Which books or series do you want the podcast to cover in the next year? We talked about some. We've got Terra Ignota. Anything else?
Yeah. I'm going to convince both Era and Yeti to do the Ash and Sand trilogy by Richard Nell.
Okay.
Infinite Jest.
Infinite
No.
Jest, Miss Huron.
No.
Okay.
No.
Huron is holding on hope for that. Okay, cool.
We're already doing a hate read of Susanna Clark's next one. I mean, why do we have to push the envelope with this?
Who knows when that's coming out though?
True.
I want to cover ice books for Malazan.
Mm-hmm. Esselmon's books. Okay. Little Red, do you have any?
Well, we're doing Old Kingdom,
Uh-huh.
so I want to do that. But
Which is it? Is it in the
first
can
book.
or not?
Yeah, it sounds like it's not in the can. If you're like, we're going to do it
No, we're gonna do it
within a year, that does not sound like it's in the
We've
can.
recorded the first book.
Yes.
We're like halfway through the second.
Okay.
And let's see. I want to finish the Pen and Des books, and I want to finish the Beguilement series.
Nice.
The Sharing Knife series.
Yeah, whatever.
Yes.
Well, I want to do culture books.
There are more culture books coming for sure. Something that we haven't started but we've talked about is the Dandelion Dynasty series by Ken Liu.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to do that on the pod.
Did we do an episode on his favorite menagerie, or was that just with AP?
I did an episode in Wordless.
But we did an episode on AP's channel for the Paper
Oh, okay.
Menagerie. Yeah, the short story.
When Jingles and I have done enough Recluse, maybe I can convince him to do Imager as well.
Ooh, I like
is that
that
by,
one.
by Modsit?
Yeah,
Or-
it's
yeah.
also a Modicet series, but it's in a world where you can like imagine things into reality.
So just
It's
magic.
going to get trippy.
It's fun, but it's me. So take it with
It's
a salt.
Modicet. It's Modicet, so I can't tell if it's a good book or a bad book.
It's a book.
Kip is blind.
Okay. Book asks, what is the biggest challenge in making the episodes? So talking
Editing.
about podcasting in general. Soulution, did you say editing?
Editing. First thing, editing.
Latency.
That's true. He's got a point.
Our like ability to not be entirely on sync with each other makes for some awkward moments in talking when like you start and someone starts half a second
Mhm.
later, but they were actually half a second before you, and it's just confusing.
Latency makes editing a lot more difficult too.
Yep.
It also made me lose that game we played a few weeks ago.
You were
Sure.
going to lose anyways. Don't worry about
You
it.
were well behind.
I was going to say latency is definitely an issue. Editing is definitely an issue. It's scheduling.
Yeah, scheduling is
Scheduling
hard.
is the hardest.
I would say audio quality, but that is also a latency issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, scheduling's actually the worst one, but I figured everyone was going to say scheduling.
Yeah. Given, already how many time zones we have on this episode, and then we've got people in Germany, we've got people in Australia. Yeah, it can be quite challenging.
It's really hard when someone's laughter comes in like a half second off or a full second off. It's just like
Kip is also quite anal about the details when editing.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is
true.
probably why he takes so long to edit his
Yes.
episodes. Like, maybe just let it go,
Let it go.
no, I can't let people sound stupid because they're laughing like 5 seconds after someone said a joke.
Kip is
Oh, no,
just
that's
looking
their
out
fault.
for everybody else.
Sometimes it takes the brain that long to digest the information and get out the laugh.
When I edit with Kip, sometimes I add extra ums, and I edit out the laughter usually after jokes, so he just sounds like
Oh my god.
he's just failed.
Okay, moving on. Oh my goodness, Solution. This episode is already going to be a pain in the butt to edit, okay?
Sorry, I'll stop.
Ross asks favorite episode to record. Kip, you got an answer?
I've got a couple.
Yeah.
We've listed a couple of the ones that I had fun rants in, which would be Linguist Mages and Jade City. Those were great episodes to record. I also loved A Memory Called Empire was recording because I was like, what is up with this city? It makes no sense. And the Live Ship and Fool's Fate recordings have been just amazing. Like especially Ship of Destiny and Fool's Fate.
Okay, nice. I like the variety in your answer. Well-rounded. What about you, Little Red?
So World War Z was definitely one of my favorites to record.
Me
It was
too.
so good. All of the Five Gods have been really fun. I also really liked the Ella Enchanted one because it was a multimedia event.
It was an experience.
Right. And I really liked doing the Uplift series with Era and Kyptan because they would make me predict things and then laugh at me.
And make you pronounce words.
And they made me pronounce words.
The horror.
Saying things on podcasts.
Oh my gosh. They'd be like, can you just here's a list of alien names. How many of them can you say?
And then we give her ones with like
With like symbols.
percentage signs in them.
Yeah, like Elon Musk's child. I don't know
Right,
which it is,
exactly.
but yeah, like that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The crank.
Oh my goodness.
Also, I had this really funny moment where I misunderstood something completely, and they were laughing at me about it. And number one son was recording or reading the book at the same time that we were recording about it. And I said, "Did you realize?" And he's like, "Yeah, Mom, I totally got that." So we just felt like a damn ass.
It happens.
It's okay.
Uh,
I'm wrong online.
Yes, you are.
Glottal stops are not always rendered as percentage signs.
Oh my goodness.
I'd say usually.
Cesky, what's your answer?
I liked recording lots of my episodes, or most of them, but I think one of my favorites were the two author interviews with Sebastian de Castel and John Scalzi. Those were a lot of fun. And then doing the first book
great.
doing the first book in the Greatcoat series by Sebastian de Castel was a lot of fun. That was a really touching book.
But not the rest.
No, the rest were good too, but that one's like the first one, and it's the one I've read the most out of them. That's all.
Gotcha.
So you hate all of our episodes except for those two.
Exactly. Every other episode, just burning passion hate.
Just
That's
worthless. Yeah.
I see.
I download them and then delete them immediately for the satisfaction.
It's like the opposite of Goodreads, where everything's 1 star except for those two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. You know me so well.
Yes. Solution.
Well, I was gonna say the Sebastian de Castel, but
Mhm.
I'll actually go with I like the series. Was it The Faithful and the Fallen with Era and Yeti? It was very hyped up. I mean, it's Viking basically, and Era just going blood for the blood god, and just things were just fun. Like I just wanted things to just go crazy, and it was a lot of fun.
Nice. Hurin?
Our latest talk with Steve where by happy accident AP joined. That or Battle of the Linguist Mages, because it was so much
Reasons?
fun just crapping on that book with 2 or 3 other people who also thought it was awful. And so I often make apologies for poor audio quality for our episodes, especially at our early stuff. We've improved. I won't ever make an apology for poor audio quality on that episode.
You don't
just
need
because it deserves it.
Wow, harsh words.
It doesn't deserve good audio quality.
Yeah.
I thought the book had some redeeming quality.
Sure, it did. It just ruined them all.
All right, should I listen to the episode since I'm probably never going to read the book?
Yes.
Probably.
Sure. I mean, yeah, it's fun.
Okay, I'll give it a listen. Okay.
I said the book draft was really fun. I really enjoyed our last episode for Dust of Dreams, which it was with Hurin, Ash, and Janeth. And I think I really like it because one, I'm really close to the end. But it was also there were a lot of good discussions, like good theming that we were finally able to have more in-depth conversation on because we're that far into the series.
Oh yeah, this piece is coming. This piece is coming.
Finally
Yeah.
being able to understand Malazan is a great feeling.
Yes, thank you. Oh my goodness. Okay, we do have a few more questions left, and before we get there, I'll just do the last of our trivia. So now looking at our listeners, we get some analytics from our podcasting platform about our listeners. Can you name the top 3 podcast platforms where our pod is consumed? I think the first
Can we
two
say
are
other?
Spotify,
Spotify.
Apple,
Yeah.
Spotify, Apple, and
Podcast Addict.
Pocket Casts.
Pocket Cast. What did you say, Chesky?
Oh, Podcast Addict.
Podcast
Is that a
Addict?
host? I think that's just a consumer.
Oh, that's not a host, I guess. I would say like Chrome then, because mine shows Chrome as a listening
No.
platform.
It's like actual podcast apps.
Yeah.
Platforms.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then Podcast Addict.
Yeah.
You are
I'll go-
correct.
yeah.
So according to the analytics, Spotify is like 33%, Apple Podcasts is like 27%, and then Podcast Addict is 12%, and then there's like a bunch of
Yeah.
others.
That's too low.
Rep it.
I mean, I'm not a shill, but Podcast Addict is fantastic, and it's free.
Not available on iPhone.
That's iPhone's problem.
I'm not going to get into that here. Maybe we could do an episode about that.
I think we're
The
good.
science fiction of Apple. No, just kidding.
The hypothetical.
Yes.
Hey, if we want to do an episode about the science fiction of like Apple aesthetic in science fiction movies, I'm game for that.
Ooh, that would be interesting. Yes.
Planned
Have you
obsolescence.
come up for a title for that episode less than 15 words? Then I'll listen to it.
Apple aesthetic in SFF.
The evolution of a user experience in SF.
There you go.
Yeah, that does not sound fun. You have fun with that one.
Yeah, right? I'm with Soul on this one. You guys have fun.
We're going back to solo episodes for Kip.
One more here. So most of our listeners tune in from the US, 57%. What are the next 5 like countries that
Sweden?
people listen from?
Germany.
Yeah,
Germany.
Yep.
Yep.
Norway.
Antarctica.
The 7
you
people
know-
there.
Did you already say the UK?
No. Oh no. UK. Okay.
Australia.
Canada.
Australia, Canada. Yep. You hit
The
it.
world.
Sweden was number 6. Like after.
Oh, darn.
Ooh. Hold on. Sorry for the one Sweden out there that listens to us. Sorry. Wow.
We love you.
We still love you. We love you.
Didn't make it into the top 5, huh?
Some fun facts. I bet like Norway and Sweden just like flip flop based on when Tor listens and when Lady Sweden listens. Okay, one more. So this is something that I would love for us to influence. And this is only data from Spotify because that's all I get. From the listeners on Spotify, the majority are male. Do you have a guess as to the percentage? An estimation?
59.
75.
75.
79.
I'll go
79.
69 just for fun.
69.
Ooh.
81.
Ooh.
81. Congratulations, Soulution. You're the closest because it is almost 90%.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I don't think anybody's the winner there.
Terrible. That's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, this
Yeah.
mostly male podcast is not the winner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
More
I would
romance.
like to.
Yes, I was just gonna say,
Just not
Red reads
Regency.
romance with couples. Come on, guys.
I
We need to
mean,
make this happen.
females like more than just romance.
I
So-
know, but I'm just
I'm not claiming they don't, but if you want to get the female market, you got to cover romance.
I was gonna say,
we
it's
can
like
agree
a
with this,
gateway-
right?
it's a gateway drug.
It's a
gateway
How about
drug.
this then?
Drug.
You guys can. I'll do one romance novel. I've never done one with you guys. You pick
heard it here
I'll
first.
do one.
Yes.
If I
I'm
don't
saying
like
right
it,
here. If you give me a romance, I'll do it on the just make
All
it
right,
a
here
fantasy
we
sci-fi
go.
romance. I'll do an episode. I would
Yeah.
love to. I love romance.
Green tea
'cause
romance
you guys got to make
series.
sure it's good. I've not read a
Oh
good
my
one.
gosh.
And that's I keep
Yeah,
bouncing.
don't
off.
do Throne of Glass,
We do have A Court of Thorns and Roses coming out, so there's
and
always
I will
that.
read it.
Ooh, maybe we could do something on the red, white, and royal blue movie.
Oh yeah, we could do that. I mean, it's not science fiction.
No,
Although, well,
not
it's
science fiction or
alternate
fantasy.
history.
It is alternate history.
So there you go. Speculative. All right, let's get back to our questions to wrap up. Let's see. So these are just more like general reading questions. They're not podcast specific. Stormrunner asks, what books have surprised you the most, read for the podcast or not? Books you thought you wouldn't like but did, or vice versa. Kip, you want to go first?
Saga surprised me the most.
Ooh.
Because I knew like just a couple things going into it, but I was really surprised by the quality of the art and how it could just
Stun you?
yeah, really stun you.
Mm-hmm.
There's several moments in the first half of the series where it's just like, oh, that just happened.
Mm-hmm.
Very stimulating.
Not stimulate, shocking. There's a much higher shock value in the narrative and the art than I was expecting, and I think that's a great use of the medium. Like a full page spread can really have a value that like just a paragraph doesn't.
Definitely not kid friendly. Just putting that
Definitely
out
not kid friendly. But yeah, Saga kept surprising me.
there. Yay! I'm so glad you like it. Little Red, what about you?
I would. This is hard because this is like I've read a lot of stuff that has surprised me. I would say we're just gonna go with Startide Rising because I read the book before it, and then I read Startide Rising. I'm like, oh, which
The book before was Sundiver.
yeah. So I read the book before it, the sun thingy, Sundiver, and I read that book, and then I read Startide Rising, and I was like, oh,
Night and Day.
because yeah.
They're very different books. One is like a detective story, and the other is a crashed spaceship.
But it was also one was clearly
One
the
was
first,
single POV, and the other's multi.
Yeah, there's a lot of differences.
Yep.
I think I remember you guys saying in the primer, like you could even just skip Sundiver and just start with.
Oh yeah.
Startide
Oh,
Rising.
absolutely. There's hundreds of years between them.
Cool. Chesky.
Yeah. For like non-podcast wise, I was really hoping to like Harrow the Ninth, and then the next one, Nona the Ninth. Yeah, that's the one, right? They were
Yeah.
fine. I just felt like I was kind of missold what it was going to really be about. And I'm fine with reading long web serials or fan fiction type things like that it was kind of, read as. But I'll still read the next one. I still need to, but it's just not high on my list because I just didn't enjoy it that much. And
I
then
don't know what it is. Chesky is like having the unpopular opinions in this episode.
well,
He brought it out. He scripted all this before.
I scripted it, yeah. No,
Yeah.
when you go into expecting to like most books, it's the ones that you don't like that stick out. So
Yeah, that's true.
And
Yeah.
I thought I would like Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I really did think I was going to enjoy it. I thought, Piranesi was just the one I didn't like of hers. I was wrong. That's all
Wow.
it is.
You didn't like Piranesi either?
No, he didn't. I know.
Did not.
Wow.
I also did not like it.
Did you like Gideon more than Harrow?
Yeah, I liked Gideon more than Harrow. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Gideon's the first one. That's the one that I felt like I thought it was going to be about one thing, and it was like slightly about that one thing and more about everything else. And I was like, then don't market it as one when it's really like 1.9. It's very different things. So, yeah, no, that's it, really. I mean,
Cool. Huron?
Ship of Magic was definitely a surprise. because I read the first Farseer trilogy and I was not a huge fan. That was fine. And then the Live Ship Trader book blew me out of the water. The Phantom Tollbooth, I was just like, oh, it's a kid's book. It's short. I'll give it a try. It was really, really good. And I'm looking forward to reading it to my son. And finally, Kaiju Preservation Society, because I was lied to by all of the podcasters.
Huron has the unpopular opinion of not liking kaiju.
It's not that
Oh.
unpopular. There was just a thread on Fantasy where everyone's just like, why is this book on the Hugos? It's not very good.
It's funny.
I finally felt vindicated. No,
Would you say it's a lift?
It wasn't funny. It was yeah. I'm gonna stop.
I'm sorry, you're wrong about it, Huron.
I'm
It's not the
curious what
best
he
book
thinks of
ever.
starter villain.
I am too. Yeah. It's different. It's different.
He might never read a Scalzi book again.
Red Shirts was fun. I like that.
Yeah, Richards is great. It's
Yep.
fantastic.
Great.
Soulution.
Okay. I was doing some palate cleansers, and for 50 cents, I picked up Sphere by Michael Crichton.
Yeah.
And my expectations were like way low. Even though I love Jurassic Park, I was like, I'm gonna give it a shot. And it was great. Like, it was just fantastic. I loved the movie The Abyss. That's one of my favorite movies. As a kid, I've watched about like once every 6 months. So this movie had like The Abyss vibes. It was very fun.
I love Sphere. I've read it at least 6 times.
Wow.
I have never read it.
You should.
It's good.
Standalone. It's great.
So actually, I will go with Michael Crichton because I started reading Michael Crichton in high school, and I think I started with Congo, and I just didn't know what I was getting myself into at all. And I just end up really enjoying it and then wanting to read more and more by the author. And then I read Jurassic Park, and I was like, this is so good. Like, the movie is fun, but the book is just so next level. And I don't hear people talking about Crichton books as much as I would like to, given how good his writing is.
His later books went a little crazy.
Well, yes, but his earlier stuff was really good. Also, his book, The Great Train Robbery, like, totally different from everything else. And it's really fun. It's really, really enjoyable. So I would say Michael Crichton.
But I think that's why people don't talk about him as much anymore.
Oh.
Though he has a new book out, a brand new book out.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I don't know about the books after he passed. That's
Yep.
What are we using, a medium or?
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
gotta
know.
be.
Yeah, it's called a ghostwriter. They write your ghost.
yeah. Okay. Ian asks, "Do you believe you've already read the best book you'll ever read?" Oh my goodness, what a question.
I haven't read Book of the New Sun yet, so.
Oh, well, there you go. Solution?
Gene Wolfe, man.
No,
No.
because I lean more towards the Cesky side of things than the Kip side. I love pretty much most of the things I read, and it's just because it hits you in the moment, and that's just how I read. So I know in 6 months, if I'm in the mood for something and something happens to hit that exact moment, that's what it is. That's what I'm gonna love, and it's just gonna be the best book.
What about you, Lil Red?
No, because I don't believe there is such a thing.
All books suck.
Yeah, yes, that's what I said.
Is there such thing as the worst book?
Probably not that either. There's probably a lot of books that could qualify as the worst book. I just think that there's a lot of great writers, and a lot of them are writing a lot of books, and a lot of them are really, really good. And it's really hard to compare across genre, across a lot of things.
Do you believe that you may have already read it, but you don't recognize it?
Oh, that's possible, I guess. I mean,
No,
sure.
if you didn't know you were reading the best book, then it wasn't the best book.
It's the best book.
I don't know. I think maybe she
ever.
should try the archive Undying again.
No,
Yeah.
no, I'm not gonna
Did you do this? There's this other one they've been bragging about. What's this, Battle of the Linguist dudes or something? You should read that
I love
one.
the Linguist Mages, yeah.
Yeah, and then the Infinite Jest thing. You got a couple books that you're really gonna like.
Chesky, do you have an answer for this?
Yeah. The cheesy answer is that I try to go into every book as if it's the next, best book I'll ever read, but there's no way to know until you die or you've read all the books. So it's something I'm definitely striving for, is to read
I was
all the
gonna
books, but it's slow going. There's a lot out there. On the flip side, I'm pretty sure I've read the worst books I've ever read, and it's in that little picture I sent you guys earlier.
I see. Actively avoiding anything like those.
Yeah.
Kieran, what about you?
Would change the wording to already read my favorite book ever? Yeah. Then probably. I think I probably read my favorite book ever. Best, I'm not sure. I
Is
hear
it Toll the
Swans Way.
Hounds?
All right. No, it's Ulysses.
I knew it.
Jeez.
But I still haven't read In Search of Lost Time. I think I'm probably gonna really like that.
You might.
Do I think I've ever read the best book? No, I haven't read enough.
We're all pretty young. We're not
We
in risk
are.
of dying rapidly from natural causes anytime soon.
Yeah, but compared to the average person who reads, like we've read a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but we're
People
probably going to read
what's the
quite a
average?
bit
They read
more.
like what, half a book a
Like,
year is the average
Something
for
like-
Americans or something
it's
like
like
that?
3 or 4.
No, it's
Maybe?
higher than that. It's like
It's-
5 or 6.
Thought it was
Okay.
Well, Americans
But
are illiterate.
It's
12.
affected quite a bit by it being an average, though.
That
Yeah.
is true.
So those of us who read 100 versus those of us who read 0.
2021. It was 12.6 books per year.
Awesome.
It's actually higher
So
than
somebody's
I thought it would
really holding up the high end of that.
Chesky.
Chesky.
It's not me. It's not me. I'm not reading enough for everybody else.
be. One librarian in Nebraska reading 5 billion books a year is really bringing up that average.
It's Tori from Lammy's podcast. It's her. She's the one saving us all.
Okay, so moving on to just general people questions, I guess. I don't know how to categorize this. Yeti asks, what Discord member you're most eager to meet at the next meetup, which is happening in 2024. If you are interested, hit up the legendarium.com to wait. No, there's no
Oh
info
no,
there.
it's news is it's all pending still. I mean,
It's not
definitely happening.
Not
we just
official
don't-
yet.
Yeah.
Okay, the Legendarium meetup will happen maybe in 2024. More information to come sometime in the next however many months there.
It might be in the proverbial can soonish.
Sneak peek.
Yeah. In the can.
We will probably have some more definite details in September.
Okay, looking forward to September. And then Yeti says excluding himself, of course. So if you've got an answer, feel free to answer. Let's start with Cesky. Who do you want to meet?
Oh, I've actually met quite a lot of people. I would love to meet in person. To clarify here, yes, Lammy, Mirlaya, and Hurin. Those are the 3 I think I've podcasted or talked with the most that I haven't already met, and so yeah.
I would
I
like
want
to
to
meet
meet
your
Hurin's
daughter.
wife.
I would like to meet all of your spouses and
The
friends.
saint who could put up with Hurin.
She is incredible.
Questions.
Yeah. Soulution.
Well, like I met a lot. I was probably hearing, but I don't know. Trying to think. Lammy's a good pool. Yeah, Lammy's funny.
Lammy
good guy.
I mean, it's
always
funny.
like surprises me with the jokes and the puns, like delightfully so.
If we could get Ian, I'd love to meet Ian.
Yeah.
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 Ian always has some really fun takes and interesting movie perspectives. I like him.
Interesting is a good way to put it.
I know he's. I know that he's a Last Jedi aficionado, but no. But I still like the guy. Okay.
Hurin.
Ash. I want to meet Ash. He's my favorite.
I
Um,
agree. I agree that he's your favorite.
It's weird him not being here.
An
Yeah.
international bromance.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys have
Jeez.
podcasted together a lot.
I think most of our episodes have been together.
And you guys were in the Dungeons and Dragons like
Yep.
group
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
He
Yep.
was our dungeon master.
Yeah. I
Bless
would
him.
say yeah, Ash, Hurin, and Janet, like it would be great to be able to have the Malazan crew together in person.
Very understandable.
Lazan
Yes.
Con someday in 5 years. Hey, we found this old
Is there a
podcast.
Malazan convention, like even a tiny one?
Not that I know
No.
of. Erickson has said he's open to it, but like he needs content. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure the entire Malazan fandom cannot provide enough content for this.
You guys could lead a panel.
I think we just need someone to organize it because I think there
Yeah.
would be enough interest.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yes.
just the fandom's just growing.
And he lives in Vancouver, right?
he lives in Victoria.
Victoria.
Yeah, Victoria, BC. Okay, Little Red, how about you? Do you want to say anything?
Well, haven't met Huron yet. But the other of you, I have all met in person. I've met a lot of people in real life, and a lot of them has slept in my house.
She's
That is
bragging
true.
now.
I want to meet Era. We have a podcast together, and we've never met in real life. And he was going to come out to Portland in May, and then the case settled, so he wasn't coming out. Oh, which is kind of a bummer.
Womp.
He did
Stupid
that to me
laws.
too. He's like, I'm gonna come and see you soon. I'm like, cool. And he's like, oh yeah, it didn't work out. I'm like, come on, man. He likes to tease. He's a teaser.
He is a
He did come out to Utah for me, so
Oh man!
Wow. Okay, we all know who's his favorite.
Okay. All right.
I'm just going
But-
to say as another Utah visitor.
to be fair, it was his wife's vacation that she wanted to go on. So
Yeah.
Utah's nice. I love Utah.
It's great to have family who understands why you want to go to Utah and then not ski.
yeah, yeah.
I'll ski with you. Don't worry.
Have you ever skied?
Awesome.
I'm asking Soul.
So it's like I'm from Florida.
Soul didn't even
That's
know
why
what
I was
snow was
asking.
until we
I
started
was very
showing him
confused.
pictures.
There's these things called planes, and I take them once in a while on a vacation, and I go to places where there's snow, like in Kip's background right there, and then I learn to ski, and then I go have fun.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just like when you're on two alligators surfing. It's the same thing. We have that down here. It's just colder up there, right?
Yep, exactly. the same.
And I think they make you wear helmets or something. I don't know.
And it's way less
Oh, yeah.
dangerous because the alligators bite back. You know,
They don't
Yeah.
actually make you wear the helmets.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll
It would
fit
be
right in.
good to wear them though. Safety first. So,
Oh yeah.
Kip, what you got?
Are we talking about who we'd like to most meet at the meetup?
Yeah.
Hurin's wife. I was
Oh,
serious.
he was serious. What about Hurin's baby?
Hurin's baby was the first choice, but then I remembered Hurin has a wife that I have seen and talked to way too little.
Okay. Does anyone have any closing thoughts? Otherwise, I will wrap us up. The editing of.
So if
Oh,
Linguist
yeah.
Mages had a sequel that comes out, who's up
No.
for?
So actually, he does have a new book that came out.
Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, I see.
I'm talking about a direct sequel where they just wipe out the events of the last part of the book and say, "Yeah, here you go."
I will read it. I'll sacrifice myself. I'll read it, and I'll let you know whether or not it's worthy of an episode. How about that?
That sounds like asking for too much of a sacrifice from you.
All right, ready for a wrap up? That's a wrap on our 200th main episode. Before we go, we want to say a big and sincere thank you to all the listeners. You really make this whole podcast thing way more fun. Thank you for your time, engagement, and encouragement. Also, this podcast would not be possible without a few key people. Much thanks to Craig from the Legendarium podcast for all of his support for our little pod. Thank you to Horizon Brave for getting the green team started. Thanks to all the panelists and contributors. We wouldn't have reached 200 episodes without you. Until next time, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
I'm waving.
See ya.
Just bear with me because this intro is a bit longer than usual. Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll mute. You do your thing.
Okay.
Rawr.
All right, here we
Who's
go.
editing this, by the way?
I will.
I'm guessing whoever pulled in the bots.
Yes, me. I shall. Oh, I spilled water. Great start, everybody. I just needed some water.
just put that at the end.